Hi everyone, welcome back again to another sewing tutorial on this channel. Thank you so much guys for stopping. If you're stopping for the first time, you're welcome. If you are a first timer on Jowins channel, I just want to officially say welcome to 2026. It's going to be a great year for all of us. In today's video, we'll be learning how to sew this baggy trouser. Watch to the end, like, share and subscribe. Okay guys, so let's get right into the tutorial. On my work table, I have my fabric on fold. I'll be drafting the front pattern first before proceeding for the back. So I have this vertical guideline I have on the pattern, which is about 1.5 inches. It's just a guide for the pattern drafting. So the full width of the fabric is 18 inches from the vertical guideline. What I'll simply do next is to draft the horizontal guideline above, which is on top of the fabric. So at this point I was trying to let us know that the fabric is placed on fold. Okay, so I'll come down, which is above, at the top part of the Ankara fabric. I'll come down by 1.5 inches or probably 2 inches, whichever measurement that is convenient for you, depending on the availability of the fabric or the length of your client, the trouser length of your client. Okay, so I came down by 1.5 inches and went ahead to use the straight part of my pattern master to highlight the lines or to connect the points there to create a straight line. So from that measurement, I'm going to be placing the full length of my trouser measurement on the fabric. So I went ahead to place the tape 2 inches from the line I established, which is 2 inches from the waistline, because the horizontal guideline is automatically our waistline. So I came down by 2 inches, and that 2 inches is for the waistband, which is also part of the trouser measurement. I went ahead to take my trouser length, which is 41 inches, plus additional 1 inch allowance for folding, which is the seam allowance. You can do 2 inches if you're doing a double fold. So from that same waistline, which is 2 inches above the waistline, I went ahead to mark my hip measurement, which is 9.5 inches. My crotch measurement is 12.5. So to determine your crotch depth, it is your round hip circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Okay, so between 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So on my hip measurement, on the hip line, I placed the quarter of my hip circumference, which is 10.5, plus additional 2.5 inches is allowance. So this is not a standard. It can be 4 inches depending on the size of your clients. Okay, so 2.5 inches was just okay for me, so I went ahead to place this 2.5 inches, or mark the 2.5 inches from the waist down to the hip, linking it to the crotch length. So the next thing I'll simply do is to determine my crotch extension. So what you can simply do is to take the complete measurements of your crotch line and then divide it by 4. So I got 2.75, which approximately is 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark 3 inches, and then from the midpoint you go up by 1 inch to enable you create that curve around that crotch area, linking it to the hip line, as you can see. So you're going to be using your French curve to draft that curve, or you can do a freehand. And then I also went ahead to add additional 1/2 inch seam allowance. That seam allowance is to help you or to guide you for your seam stitch, so that you don't sew directly on your crotch line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect these measurements. Just draw a straight line from that your crotch extension down if you want a complete baggy, or you can go ahead and create your thigh line and then slant it by 1 inch and then draw a straight line down. Okay, so it all depends on what you want. And then on the center front, you come down by 1/2 inch and link it to this side front. Okay, so you come down by 1/2 inch and link it to the side front. Okay, so from the center front, I'll take it again. You come down by 1/2 inch and link it to the side front, and then go ahead and cut it out. You cut out the excess fabric on the pattern. So while I was cutting out, I didn't cut out the slants, the half an inch measurement downwards. I actually cut out on a straight waistline so that I'll be able to draft the back pattern before cutting out the half an inch measurement I took out from the center front. So guys, I'll go ahead and draft the back pattern. So I also placed my back pattern on fold, and I have an excess fabric of about 5 inch away from the actual front pattern. So and then I'll go ahead and secure it with my pins, as you can see. So the next thing I'll do is extend the crotch for the back pattern as well. So I'll go ahead and mark additional 2.75 inches, and then I'll do the same on the waist, the hip. Okay, you mark 2.75 on the waist and the hip, and link the 2 points together. So the crotch extension for the back is 2.75, so between 2.5 to 2.75 is okay. So I'll go ahead and link these points, link the waist to the hip, and then curve the hip towards curve the hip to the crotch line, as you can see. So you can use a free hand or still use your French curve to establish that curve effect around this area, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and draw a straight line after adding half an inch seam allowance, just like we did for the front pattern, and then connect it down to the full length of your trouser. Okay, so for the waistline for the front pattern, have in mind that the back we came down by half an inch, slanted downward. So we're removing half an inch for the front pattern, but the back pattern we're going up by 1 inch or 1.5 inches. I think I did 1.5 inches at this point. So from the center back, I'll link it to from the side back, I'll link it to the center back. As you can see, I went up at the center back by 1.5 inches. So link it to the side back and then go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so I'll cut it out from the seam line, and then I'll link it. Just draw a straight line from that to your extended crotch at the back. Keep on marking 2.75 till you get to the end of your trouser length, and then use your straight rule, draw a straight line, and trim out your excess fabric. So guys, simply go ahead to use your scissors to trim out the fabric after drafting your straight line. And if you find value for this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, so that YouTube can recommend this video. So after this, the next thing I'll do, after trimming out the excess from the lower part, I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch for both the front and the back pattern. So this is inclusive for both patterns. You go in by 1 inch on the side front and side back, linking it to the hip line. You can use your meter rule, or you can do a free hand and then trim out the excess, as you can see. So this is to create fitting around the hip area. Okay guys, so I'll simply separate the front from the back, and then place the pattern separately for the back and the front, right sides facing each other, as you can see me doing. And you go ahead and secure the crotch together, the crotch area. Okay, so just the crotch area for the front, and then the crotch area for the back. The back as well, you're going to be placing the right sides facing each other. So I've gone ahead to stitch it, and I realized that I haven't trimmed out the half an inch reduction on the front pattern. So I'm going to be placing it on fold, as you can see, and then I'll go ahead and trim out that half an inch reduction at the center front, linking it to the on the center front, linking it to the side front. So you can see that the trimming starts from the side front, then extends down to the center front. The half an inch is directly on the center front. So what we'll simply do next is to create our pocket. So I have this piece of fabric that I cut into four pieces. It's going to be 2 for each, and the measurement, the full length of this piece of fabric is 11 inches. It can be 11 to 13 inches, and then the width is about 7 inches to 8 inches. So it depends on the actual measurement you want for yours, but for this particular fabric on the work table, the width is 7 inches. So I placed it on the fabric, as you can see. So I'm going to be flipping it back because of that half an inch slant that we have on the waist area. So I'll ensure that it is well aligned. I'll go ahead and trim it out the way it's drafted on the pattern. and then I'll flip it to ensure that the alignment is well aligned or well positioned, that everything fits perfectly. Okay, so having done this, the next thing I will do is to come down by 7 inches from the waist area, and then I'll go ahead to notch it on the fabric just to highlight. You can use your chalk to highlight the measurement, or you can notch it and ensure that you secure the fabric to the trouser pattern. Then on the waist area, I'll move in by 2.5 inches, or you can move in by 2 inches, and you go ahead to create the slant effect of your side slant pocket. And then I'll go ahead and trim it out by 1/2 inch. Just create 1/2 inch seam allowance around that slanty area, so that you can stitch. That seam allowance is your stitch allowance. Okay, after stitching, you flip it, you notch. You first of all notch the seam. After notching, you flip, give it a good press, and then you top stitch. Okay, so that top stitching is very important to help it to relax neatly. Okay, so fold it properly, give it a good press, and then you go ahead and top stitch around that area. So I'm done top stitching. I'm going to pick the second fabric, which is the other part for one side pocket. I'll place it wrong sides facing each other, as you can see. So I'm going to create a curve around that lower area, which is strictly optional. You can leave it this way, or you can just make it curvy at the lower part. So I'm going to use my chalk to establish the curve around that area. I'll secure my pin, and then I'll trim it out. You can trim it out by 1/2 inch so that you create a sewing allowance for it. I'll take it to my sewing machine and then stitch on it. So I'll stitch and then notch. Okay, so I'm done with the stitching. I'll use my scissors and notch it properly. So ensure that while you're notching, you don't notch into your seam, so that you don't start having tears or holes in your pockets. Okay, so after notching, I'll take it inward, just push it in this way, and then you can go ahead and top stitch the waist area, securing it to the pocket, the fabric. Okay, so you can top stitch after pushing it this way, and top stitch both the top area and the side, so that everything is well aligned. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to be doing it for the other side. So the next thing I did was to secure the center front of the trouser pattern to the back. Just secure it with my pins. So you can see that I've secured with my pins, and then for the side as well, I've gone ahead to secure with my pins. So do it downwards. Just secure with your pins first before stitching, and then I'll go ahead and turn it. After stitching, I'll turn by 1 inch this way, and since I've overlocked all part of my fabric, so I won't be doing a double fold. So I'm done joining the side front and the center front with my sewing machine. So it's now time for me to attach my waistband. So at this point, we'll go ahead and create the waistband for this trouser. And the first thing to do is to take your round waist measurement after joining the back to the front. And for me, the measurement I got was 54 inches. So I'll cut out this piece of fabric, and then I'll place it on fold. So the total length is 27.5. 27 times 2 is 54, plus 1/2 inch for joining, and the width of this fabric is 6 inches. Okay, so please take notes. So I'll place it on fold, give it a good press to create a crease line, and then for the elastic I'll be using is a 2 inches elastic band, and the length of this elastic is 32 inches, simply because my round waist is 36, so I subtracted 4 from my round waist, so giving me 32 inches plus 1/2 inch seam allowance for joining. So I'm going to join this elastic by 1/2 inch, and also join the piece of fabric I have by 1/2 inch. So the fabric, you place it right sides facing each other to enable you stitch on the wrong side. Okay, so try and find out the right side, place it each other like this, place it together and stitch. So for the elastic, you can use a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch. So guys, I was done with joining. So this is the seam line for the fabric and the seam line for the elastic. So I just simply placed that elastic after the crease line at the lower part, so that by the time I flip it like this, it is already secured and attached. So use a top stitch to secure it. the seam of the elastic on top of the seam of the fabric. So I'll go ahead and overlay it like so, like this, and then I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it. So while you're stitching, you're dragging the elastic. Please, it's very important that as you're stitching, you're dragging, as you're stitching, you're dragging, so that the elastic will be able to fit around that Ankara fabric. Okay. So the next thing I'll do is to notch the center front of the front and the center back as well, and also notch the sides. Okay, so after notching the center front, the center back, and both sides, I'm going to be attaching it to the fabric. Okay, attach the sides to the side of the trouser, then the center front to the center front of the trouser, the center back to the center back of the trouser. Okay, so ensure that you position it well so that everything will be well fitted, or will be well positioned on the Ankara fabric. So at this point I realized that I didn't place the band properly, so I needed to fix it in the right way so that by the time I stitch it, I won't have any need to restitch it again. So I positioned it well, and then I resecured it with my pin. So I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch. So while you're stitching, you're dragging the elastic band till you secure it around the trouser. So this is our end result, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end. So guys, like I said earlier, like, share, subscribe.